Hi everyone, Sydney here, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about one of my favorite e-tools, and that is the application Flip. Now, some of you may know this, some of you may not. Flipgrid is what the former name of Flip was, and they kind of did a little rebranding. It does kind of looks very similar to a TikTok, but it's definitely a more educationally friendly TikTok. So if you're looking for not only an e-tool, but something to really motivate and engage your students in a video format, I feel that Flip is a really good way to do that. So for starters, you can either log in, sign up towards the top of the page when you do go to the Flip website. But as an educator, what's really actually just generally easier for me is when students, I create my teacher account and I give them a code. Once they plug in the code, it would immediately take them to a group. So for example, this is the group that I made as a mock example from the project that I have in mind here as form as an assessment. So when I think of assessment here, this doesn't necessarily need to be something super formal. When it comes to farm to table, it definitely is more of a project-based learning experience, and I expect things to go really well and some things to not go really well. And whether or not students can actually successfully grow something or not is not as important to me as that reflection piece. So I'm really looking at, have they tried certain things? Do they have that growth mindset about the project? Sometimes in life you have to go back to the drawing board, and I think that that reflection piece surrounding this project would be really important. And that's why I'd like to place a little bit of an emphasis on it while constructing this farm to table project. Now, once again, you get in here and this is the group I've created. I like to think of groups as like courses like that we see on Brightspace or Google Classroom or something that you can become a member of. When you click further into the groups, we have topics. So these could be your individual assessments, assignments, or discussion boards, just like our other learning management systems that people in the education system most commonly use. So here I just have a mock one that's called Final Reflection. A student would click on it, and up here at the top is the join code. So they could easily type in that join code, type in their name, and submit a video of their choice, obviously following the prompt and so on. But I do want to go back and kind of just explain how I created this group and how I created the topic. So at the right top hand corner here, I have that magenta button, and that will prompt you to create a new group. You can label it math, reading, science, or perhaps you're working on some sort of project-based learning experience like I am. So you could click that, and it's fairly easy to create. Now, the topics have a little more to them. And again, we're looking for that magenta button. You click on it, and then it will prompt you to title the topic. So maybe you're talking about discussion 1.2 or reflection number 1. I also like to include a little prompt here, but because I'm working with elementary age students, I try to avoid huge, large, chunky prompts because it really does stress some of my students out, especially those students that struggle to read. So for my struggling readers, I really like to, rather than give them a chunky prompt, I'll provide them both. And I'll also record a video of me giving them the explicit directions so things are more clear to them, and then they can review my instructions as many times as they want. So this means that they can answer my questions no matter where they are. They don't need someone to help them read it. And it's very clear, it's repetitive. Aside from recording video, I can also implement a photo. I can add Bitmojis, GIFs, stickers. I can upload a YouTube video to have them respond on that. So there's a lot of different features there in terms of format and like media. Being an elementary teacher, I also have kids that are very reluctant to speak and are also a little too adamant on speaking and sharing everything that they need to share. So the recording time limits here vary greatly. So it's something that you as an educator or you using this with your clientele can adjust based on what you're asking and what you are expecting in return. When you're done, you can post the topic using the magenta button at the bottom. But as far as that, it's pretty plain and simple. If we go to the settings, you can make your topic status active or you can make it hidden from the public. So depending on the order of perhaps the syllabus or again, whatever clientele you're working with, you may not want to activate certain topics until you get to a certain point in the semester or the school year, or again, with whatever training you may be implementing. You can create a start date and an end date. Again, that recording time is there. You can also, and I love, love, love to do this as part of that peer feedback loop that I'm really trying to infiltrate with So again, you can actually customize this with my students. I really like to have that positive feedback loop where students are actually able to comment and respond with their own videos. So I've done this in terms of reading groups, writing groups, where they're providing feedback to one another. And I think that this, again, is where I want that component to come in with this farm to table project, is I want to be able to step away as the educator and look back and have them reflecting and giving each other feedback. I definitely can be the facilitator here, but I really like them to take a step into that realm of peer feedback and just kind of collaborating with each other. I think that this is a great way to do so. So you can implement video and text comments, or, just if you want to just do solely text comments or video comments. The way they respond to, you can enable likes, you can display the view count, different links, and so on. And you can also make sure that their camera is controlled if you'd like that to be so. So you can turn on the essential parts, the sticky notes, the expressions and stuff. Sometimes if my students tend to get a little distracted, I will turn off the expressions part because I do find themselves playing with it a little bit and they get a little too silly. But again, that's dependent on your audience. There's also a guest password where this is where I kind of like to incorporate my parents into my typical learning usage with this e-tool, and that's where like students can share their responses with their parents using this guest password. So although parents can't comment and respond on things, that they can actually view their child's work with a special password. So again, that's kind of Flipgrid in a couple of minutes of a little tutorial, or flip, I should say. I am really excited to kind of dive more into this and look at that reflection piece with students as I continue not only to do that in my 4th grade classroom, but with this semester and my farm to table project. Thanks.